All right, everybody, thanks so much. John Collins here, partnered with Park Bench, shedding light on businesses here. And today we're spotlighting an awesome little shop that you need to know about, Calozzi's Cheesesteak. And I am very pleased to be joined by Al, owner, founder, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the business and what's going on there and how we can find him. So, Al, thanks so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Hi, John. Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you for having me on.
Thank you. All right, well, let's jump into it. I'm excited to talk to you today because cheesesteaks, I feel like, are special food, that they are like a few other foods, maybe like pizza and barbecue, where people are passionate and they have very strongly held opinions about them. And where you're from, will dictate a lot about how you like it. And so I'm really interested to hear about your story, how you got into cheesesteaks, what your background is, and how you brought them out to PB. So please give us a little background.
Yeah, well, first, I mean, the steak sandwich, it's iconic. I mean, it's one of the, I'd say, top 5 foods, maybe, that's recognizable around the world.
Absolutely.
So I got started at a very young age. My grandparents had a little shop, and I went to work at basically 10 years old. My uncle Anthony is the one that mentored me, taught me how to cook. I mean, I could saute, I could, do other things, but I always liked working on the grill side and making cheesesteaks. So.
And where's that original restaurant?
It was in Philadelphia. Yeah, born and raised in Philly. Yeah, Northeast Philly.
One of those places where it is truly an art form, right?
It's a real deal. I'm 47 now. Like I said, I started 8, 9, 10 years old. And it's all I've done. So I love what I do. I love my craft, and very passionate about it.
Well, and it's always very interesting to see how things mature, because when I do these kinds of interviews, it's often a story of somebody starting out in the kitchen or just working around the office, but then at some point things come together and you become the owner and you run the place. And it's a big transition that not everybody's able to make. How did it happen for you?
I mean, ups and downs. And just for me, my desire is too strong. I can't quit really to anything, almost, it's almost impossible for me. And especially I've been in business for myself 14 years, very humble beginnings. I moved out to Seattle in 2006. I started my business on a little wooden table outside next to a nightclub under an umbrella. There was hot dog carts, like that was the thing. Late night beats, everyone would go to the hot dog carts, and then there was me.
Sure.
Doing something different, and that was it. That's how it all started for me.
That's the key, right? Just fill a niche that's not being met, and
well, again, like you admit, you got to have passion. I mean, you have to love what you do. I'm a cook. I mean, that's my description, job title. That's what I've always done. So it wasn't like let me read a book and see how to make steak sandwiches and let me give it a shot. Mm-hmm. It's in my DNA, and it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, when you start at 10 or before 10, yeah, that's, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
That is.
Back in those days, I couldn't have a 10-year-old running around my kitchen. Yeah, I'd get in big trouble, but back in those days, a family's, restaurant, and, that's what I did, and it built my work ethic, growing up around that generation, World War II and all that. So, yeah,
That's great. So you, for a number of years, you built a business in Seattle, and then you're pretty much bookending the West Coast now. You opened a shop in Pacific Beach. How'd that happen?
We're going after it. So I had an aunt. She's passed away. My grandmother's sister, when I was a little boy, she moved out here, I think before I was born. But she would come back to visit my grandmother and all of us from San Diego. And I remember being mesmerized by the old blue California plates, and she'd have all these stories about SeaWorld and the beaches, and it's, you got to come out, it's beautiful. And it was always, since I was a little boy, this was my dream to come out here. One way or another, I was coming out to San Diego. And here we are. We're here almost 5 years now, I think.
Okay.
Our shop, yeah, actually 4 years. So we've been here about 4 years now.
Okay. Where is here? Let's go ahead and give people the information
Oh,
so they
I'm
can
sorry.
find
Yeah.
you.
So I'm in Pacific Beach neighborhood. We're at 1146 Garnet Ave. Right on the main strip. We're about 5 or 6 blocks from the beach. We're kind of diagonal from the McDonald's.
Yep.
Um,
Fantastic. And you know, with that expansion to Pacific Beach, is there, you know, I'll let people find the menu online. It's classic. It just makes you hungry looking at it. But is there anything new, any new locations coming up, or anything you want us to know about the business?
we got some things in the works. You know, we're obviously 2020 has been a very interesting year for everyone, right? Yeah. Obviously. But you know, we definitely weathered the storm. Again, that my mentality and just not quitting. It's not possible. You know, we've been very fortunate, thankfully, that we were able to continue to keep our business open, both locations and staff working. So we got some things on the horizon. You know, I like to kind of keep a little close right now, but
Sure.
You know, when we're ready, we're gonna announce it to the world.
Oh, we'll look forward to hearing about that.
Absolutely.
You know, now that you moved your family out to Pacific Beach, you know, you've had time to get settled because Park Bench is a site focused on PB and we always kind of like to share the love and pay it forward a little bit. Are there any businesses, any particular spots that you want to mention, or you know, businesses that you enjoy, or just things you like to do in PB?
You know, I mean, all of them. What's the one? This salad place down the street. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Something Green.
Oh, Green Affair. Is that one?
Green Affair. Green Affair. The place is awesome. You know, they every time I've been there, you know, nothing. That's the one thing, like consistency, right? When you go to a place that's really hot and you hear about it, wow, this is awesome. You go back a second time, like, something's a little different here.
Right.
But they have been consistent. I would definitely, you know, give a shout out to them. In Pacific Beach, they're a family-owned business, and I think it's two sisters that are running it. The mother and father are there on occasion. Nice people, hardworking people. You know, I just think there's a lot of spots here in PB. I mean, a lot of food places. You know, and I think during these times, especially, you know, you want to support those local businesses any way you can.
Absolutely, which leads me to a good question, because and I try to ask this of business owners, particularly restaurants, because now with all the food delivery services and you know, people trying to play middleman and run that. I mean, it's great when it's necessary. It's a good service, but sometimes it's more beneficial for the restaurant owners if people can go direct. So
Absolutely.
What are your preferred avenues for getting the food in front of you?
I like to just go to the places, you know, and for me, you know, the Uber Eats, those other delivery services, I feel not that they're taking advantage, but you know, the amount of percentage that they want, you know, to go bring the food. Again, look, at times when it's convenient, yeah, we have to do it. But me personally, I like to go into the place so that I give them my money. You know, they get all of it. If my check is $50, I know $50 is going to that company, to that business. Yeah. You know?
That's great. And somebody said to me recently too, is like, there's no substitute for eating it right then, because that time between it can be a little, or it can be a lot.
No, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, again, and I just think too, you kind of, you know, going in there and you build, you know, that relationship, you become a regular, the support. You know, I can speak for it means a lot. You know, the 4 years I've been here, the regulars, you know, and you get to know them, and it motivates you, you know, that you're doing something right, and you want to continue to do it, you know, and you want to show the appreciation to the customer. They're spending their money, and they expect, you know, a product to be how it's supposed to be. You know?
And then that is a special thing too. When people can come in and talk to the owner, that's
absolutely
a level of interaction, and you know, the love's going to the food.
We love it. We love it. My Seattle shop, I've been there at that brick and mortar 11 years now, 12 years. regulars, you know, that are still coming.
Yeah.
Families that, you know, started families, and you see the moms come in pregnant, and then now their kids are 12 years old and they're eating, you know what I mean? It's awesome. It's awesome. And for me, John, that's it, man. You know, because how this thing started, how it started, and all the love that we're shown, that we're being shown, you know, it's amazing.
Oh, that's terrific, man. And I'm so glad that we're able to share that and be in there soon. Bring my boys down. We'll start that tradition. And everybody go visit Calozzi's on Garnet, and I'm going to link and put all the information in so you can find them easily. But Al, can't thank you enough for the time today. I appreciate it so much. And
thank you.
Yeah, no, you have a good one, and we'll see you out there soon. All right.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, John. Take care. All right. Appreciate it.
Take care.